Hello and welcome to Rio de Janeiro for our second round of the CCGT Championship. We have a lot to cover here. We had that dramatic first race after all. As we are here now for our usual three-stage qualifying, I've been a bit interested in looking at the results of these recently and gauging whether they're actually positive or not, but fuck it, I don't really care. You guys chose it, so no flies on me. Here they all come out for their second run. At the moment, we've got Morel leading, Barnett, Giles and Barnes both going to the top 15. Anyone else going to make it out with them? No. Wow, okay, yeah, there were a couple. So, our knocked out drivers here are Zacarias de Toro, Aidan Velang, Sabrina Barnett, Chelsea Lucchesi, and Vinko Markovic. That's a terrible result for Vinko Markovic, especially since he's currently second in the championship. But we'll see how that plays out. Currently Nishimura, Ericsson, and Morel leading the way. We're going to have a wet start to qualifying, to Quali 2 here. You'd assume that their first banker lap is going to be quite slow and they'll want to switch over onto the onto dry tyres as soon as possible. Schweitzer already out there, the quickest out there on slicks. Surprising though, I would have had him wow, look at that, he goes top. See who's missing out at the moment is Nishimura, Araujo Azevedo, Klein, Pallison, and Maglic. Oh, Araujo Azevedo puts in a fantastic lap to drag himself clear there. Brilliant. Giles and Barnes are both out, of course, because, yeah. But they're joined by Naomi Klein, Britta Pallison, and Nusrat Nasser, leaving us with a quite elite top 10 here. Here we go, Quali 3. Let's see what they can give us. Oh, there's going to be rain in the middle of this as well. They'll want to try and set a lap before it sets in. Hate Singh gets out there quickly and sets 3 purples. That puts him at a huge advantage for the rest of this race, you'd assume. Or the rest of this quali, rather. Now they're over onto Inters. If I were them, I would stay in. And a few of them are, yeah, staying in so they can get out there again for a late second run on the Ultrasoft. Hate Singh's out there as well. I wonder if anyone else is going to try out whether they're going to save their tyres. Is anyone going to beat him? No, they're not. There we go. Our top 10. That's Hate Singh from Inner Tarasova, from Minoru Nishimura, Havana Ericsson, and Marcos Araujo Azevedo, the hometown hero. Well, let's see whether those extra set of Ultrasofts were worth it for some of our drivers here. And it is lights out and away we go. Hate Singh makes a good start. Tarasova does not. Awful start from her. Nishimura squeezes past. Oh, but then he goes horribly wide. Nishimura goes terribly wide. And he's completely ruined that good start he had. I'd Maglic now up to second, leading a small knot of cars here as Havana Ericsson goes up the inside. They went up the inside, put 2-3 wheels off the track there. Brave stuff. I'd Maglic now trapped behind Havana Ericsson. Oh, just managing to forge up the inside. Behind them, Inner Tarasova and Marcos Araujo Azevedo battle for room there. Zach Lucas is in 6th. Nusrat Nasser managed to make his way up to 7th on his 6th now, indeed, on his fresher Ultrasofts, having only managed 11th in the... Ooh, and he sets the fastest lap in the qualifying. Havana Ericsson retakes second there as Hate Singh and Ericsson both deploy the power boost. It's interesting ploy from Ericsson there. Presumably not only keeping up with Hate Singh but also getting away from Hyde Maglic so she can concentrate on hunting down Hate Singh. She set a purple first sector, got a green second. She is cutting down Hate Singh's lead at the moment. Well, Hate Singh, to be fair, set a purple second sector there. If she can keep this gap to 1.1 for the first couple of laps, then She will have been catching him. So no, Hating sets the fastest lap by presumably a few hundredths. They were very close together. Britta Pallison, interestingly, our only driver on the super softs. Our 3 tyre choices today. Ultra soft, super soft, and regular soft tyres in ascending order of hardness. Martin Giles and Giles and Barnes forming a sandwich around Pallison there. Although, look how much quicker she is than both of them already. Lucas Schweitzer and Nusrat Nasser in a real battle here in the mid-table. There's been a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing so far in this championship. There really is a kind of premium on it compared to the open wheel stuff. They can just get so much closer and not have to worry about damage. Part of that is, of course, the cars are slightly bigger. They're wider. They're slightly longer. So there is much less room on track when you've got a whole bunch of them. Or as that Nasser trying up the inside of Schweitzer, and he's probably going to get him here. But Schweitzer's going to have the inside line, and Zach Lucas is neatly boxing out Nasser kind of by accident there. And Nasser's going to try and throw it up the inside. Ooh, yeah, and now Nasser deploys the speed boost, it looks like. Or maybe he just got an incredible drive out of that corner. And he's up to the next group of drivers now. Let's go back to Hate Singh. He's about a second and a half ahead of Havana Eriksson, which is good, but not amazing. But that's exactly what Eriksson would like. She doesn't want him to be too far away. Eriksson, who is coming into the pits this next opportunity. Maglic, Tarasova cutting her way through the field. She's looked after her Ultrasoft very well. Of course, didn't go out for an extra couple of laps on them during Quali 3, so she's got a bit more life in them than some of the other front runners do. Is that Araujo Azevedo and Nasser behind them getting into an almighty scrap again. Nasser not going to have to pit in this coming round of pit stops as Eriksson heads in. Hatsing stays out. Hatsing comes in. Tarasova stays out. Araujo Azevedo, Nasser, Schweitzer, Nishimura all in. Havana Eriksson is going to... Oh, she would hope be out first, but she's not. Ide Maglic has caught fire. Oh, there's been another pit lane fire. Oh, it keeps happening. Why does it keep happening? Why won't you monsters ban refueling? Ide Maglic had to retire from the race. The mechanical failure caused by the fire was too strong, and we really have to hope that Ide Maglic is okay here. They wouldn't retire the car without due cause. Either his car is totaled, or Ide Maglic's face is totaled. One of the two. Inna Tarasova into the pits. Nusrat Nasser now takes the lead, and you can see the scorch marks around Ide Maglic's. Where Ide Maglic's car caught fire there. Oh, that was an unsafe release. That was extremely unsafe. The two cars are going to be released side by side. Araujo Azevedo and Nishimura. Nishimura had the inside line. Oh. Wow, that was close. That could have and should have been a terrible accident. Meanwhile, at the front of the pack, Nusrat Nasser lapping his way around on those ultra-soft tyres. About 5 seconds ahead of Britta Pallison, which isn't a bad gap, but Britta Pallison, having started on the super softs, is probably quite happy with her position at the moment, especially Nemi Klein as well. Back here on the regular softs in third place. We will just speed up a little bit, see what we can do to watch these with these pits. Nasser doesn't pit. That's surprising. I would have had him down as pitting, because now look at that gap tumble. I bet. Look how quickly it's coming down. 0.2 every time it refreshes almost. These ultrasofts are so fragile. Look at that. He's lost about a second there. Second and a half almost. And rising. Just by the team's decision not to bring him in. Meanwhile, Britta Pallison sweeps around on course and into first place. She's been caught a little bit by Naomi Klein, but now has an opportunity to put some real time into her. As we watch behind for these this procession of drivers who didn't make it through to quali 3. Many of the drivers who did, of course, are now are now on the super softs. Apart from Zach Lucas, interestingly, Zach Lucas and Morel both opting for the ultra softs. You'd assume they're going to go double ultra soft and then run on the regular soft tires all the way until the end. It's an interesting choice, but there is no rain scheduled, so they can be as inventive as they want with their pit lane strategies. Meanwhile, Brita Pallison pitch, she's got a bit of a mechanical issue that they're probably going to sort out. It's going to be a long pit. Let's see how far down she falls. What do you reckon, about 15th? Maybe more. It is more. She's going to fall a long way down. That was clearly a serious mechanical issue. But it's better to have it sorted out and back on track than to have to limp round. Ooh. She just squeezes out just behind Barnes in 18th place. Meanwhile, Naomi Klein in the lead. About 4.5 seconds ahead of Sabrina Barnett. Both of them on relatively similar tyres. All these drivers constituting our kind of a group of drivers who didn't make it into the third round of quali and as such picked the harder compounds. Interestingly enough, Barnett catching her a bit there, but Barnett's surely going to have to pit in this next... Yeah, she is. And she's pitting. In comes Sabrina Barnett from second place. Naomi Klein, meanwhile, takes another lap on those tyres. She's coming straight into the pits afterwards, along with some of the other ones. Klein, bit of a mechanical issue, along with Markovic. Both of them getting a bit of work done on their cars. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out first here, as Hate Singh regains the lead. Klein's going to make it back out first. Very quick. Ooh, and there's a bit of a fight behind her between Markovic and Detoro. Markovic activates his boost and sweeps past. I'm having none of that. I'm having none of that. He activates his speed boost and puts Detoro firmly in his place. Chasing them, Aiden Velang. So you would assume Naomi Klein, having just been overtaken by Nusrat Nasser, or currently in a battle with him, is still presumably our on-track leader. Followed by Markovic, rather virtual leader, followed by Markovic, Detoro, Velang, and Lucchesi. Meanwhile, at the actual head of the race, Hit Singh making his way around, deciding to stay out despite his tyres getting a little bit old. He will be in this on this particular lap, presumably followed by Havana Eriksson, 2.5 seconds back from him, and Tarasova 2 seconds back from her. In fact, look at them all queue up. Look at this. They're all coming in. Nishimura, of course, not having to worry about double stacking at all since his teammate exploded. Hate Singh first in, first out, in a very good position there. Comes out in 8th place. Those tyres will be enough to take him to the end. We have 7 laps remaining. But more interestingly, Naomi Klein. Naomi Klein looks like she's in commanding position. She's got more than enough tyre life to last her. It's all going to be about whether she can outdrive and hold off the people chasing her from behind. Nusrat Nasser is going to be riding on rims by the end of the race by the looks of it. But Markovic, Detoro and Velang all just about within striking distance of her. She'll want to keep that gap to at least a second. We will see whether it drops over time. It is dropping. Look at that. It's going down. Detoro activates a bit of a speed boost. So does Klein, trying to get away. But Markovic is sweeping up to 1.1 seconds. 1.2. The gap widens slightly. Klein pulling it back out again. This tug of war between the two drivers. Markovic heading back out to 2 seconds. But now he's bringing it back. 1.5, 1.4. Back to 1.5. This is a hell of a battle between these two drivers. With Detoro not too far off as well. That's Markovic's issue, is that no matter how quickly he goes, it seems like Detoro's keeping himself within range. And here we go. Markovic is now within range of Klein. He's got a bit of a slipstream. He's closing quickly. 0.4 seconds the gap. Detoro a second back from Klein as well. Oh, it's going to be very close. We have 1.5 laps remaining. Markovic versus Klein. Markovic on the quicker tyre, but Klein on the more durable one. Markovic looks up the inside, doesn't make it. We will ride on board with Vinko Markovic here as we go into the final couple of laps. Vinko Markovic drops off a little bit there, off to about a second away, slightly slower through those through those corners as Klein drags more performance out of her car. Meanwhile, it's interesting to look at elsewhere around the grid. Maple Street Motorsports with what seems like a very impressive result so far, 5th and 6th. But the only other teams in the points, in double points, is McLaren and Braun Cocktail. We are on the final lap. Markovic now 2 seconds off Klein. That's a big deficit. That's a huge deficit. Klein absolutely herring away down the straight there. Could this finally be her moment to step out of Inna Tarasova's shadow? Deal with the abusive boss that she has. Bosses, sorry, I apologise. Boss is plural. Maple Street Motorsports have used team orders to allow Heitzing to pass Chelsea Lucchesi. Typical, disgusting behaviour. Meanwhile, Naomi Klein looks like she's going to win. Naomi Klein comes around the final corner complex and wins the Brazilian Grand Prix thing. GT Championship race thing. Markovic comes second, De Toro third, Aiden Veilang in fourth, Heitzing disgustingly in fifth, Chelsea Lucchesi a disappointed sixth, Havana Eriksson seventh, Sabrina Barnett eighth, Inna Tarasova ninth, and Marcos Araujo Azevedo in 10th. Well, I wonder where that'll put all the championship. We haven't had a chance to look at it so far this race. So it could be quite interesting to see. What goes on here. And of course, it's worth remembering, scrutineering still hovers like an angel of death above us all. Hasn't claimed any victims this time. Naomi Klein wins from Vinko Markovic, Zacharias De Toro, and Aiden Veilang. Heitzing finishes 5th, but gets a fastest lap 2 bonus points. Quite impressive stuff from Maple Street Motorsports. Ide Maglic, of course, retired fire. That's the first time I've seen that in a while. That means Heitzing retains leadership of the Drivers' Championship, but look at that, just ahead of Vinko Markovic, who, of course, with his second place, accrues a fair amount of points. Naomi Klein up to 3rd, Havana Eriksson 4th, Inna Tarasova 5th. And the Teams Championship, Maple Street Motorsports, now 3 points ahead of Braun Cocktail. A very close couple of championships so far after 2 rounds. Thank you all for joining us. It's good to see you here. We'll see you at the next race. Hello and welcome to a rainy Sydney here. We weren't really expecting this. It is, after all, summer in Australia right now, but we are expecting a huge amount of rain, comparatively, for Quali 1. We'll have to, some drivers going straight onto full wets instantly. Interesting choice, especially as the track's already drying out. Look, it's down to damp. They're going to have to switch on to dries to complete their kind of flying lap, as it were. Barnes and Giles down at the bottom. Good work, boys. Heitzing in 19th now. Barnes and Giles up to 9th and 10th. And then they're going to fall all the way back down. Who hasn't made it through? Lucchesi, Markovic and Pallison haven't made it through, in addition to Barnes and Giles there. Another not great result, or not great qualifying for Vinko Markovic there. Really not particularly impressive from him. Britta Pallison, Chelsea Lucchesi. I mean, Lucchesi missing out by the tiniest of margins. Look at that, 0.001 second away from survival. And look, more water. And it's going to be water for damn near most of qualifying for this. It might fall off a bit towards the end, but at that point you're gambling, really, with how much effective time you can put out there. Let's see. Looks like the people who went on to intermediates earlier are benefiting from their choice. Look, everyone else now switching to inters. Apart from Araujo, Azevedo and Veilang, who seem to back themselves to get a late lap out there. It's going to be close. They're probably going to be able to do it in time, but we'll see. Araujo, Azevedo and Veilang both make it out there. Veilang just makes it out. Well, we have some interesting names Interesting names out there. Nusrat Nasser, Havana Eriksson, usually such a good qualifier. Ina Tarasova, Naomi Klein, and Zach Lucas, all not making it through. And here we go into Quali 3, which has some late rain. So any person who sets the fastest lap now will probably expect to be on pole. Hate Singh looks like he's managed it. Nishimura and Maglic, the teammates there. Maglic probably happy to see a bit of rain instead of fire for once. Let's see if anyone can beat those times. I sincerely doubt it. If you're out there on inters in the rain, you're not going to be beating those times. No, that's it. Surely. Yeah, that's surely it. That is it. So, there's your top 10. Impressive work from Hate Singh on in the rain, where usually he really doesn't benefit too much. And we've got a bit of light rain starting with the race as well. Let's just go over those group positions. So that's Hate Singh in first. Minoru Nishimura starting alongside him on the first row. Aid Maglic and Veronique Morel managing third and fourth. Martti Pessanen in fifth and Marcos Araujo Azevedo in sixth. Lucas Schweitzer seventh, Zacharias de Toro eighth, Aiden Velang ninth, and Sabrina Barnett 10th. Let's see how this all plays out with such variable weather at the moment. Here we go. We've got a nice long open start-finish straight here. Hate Singh gets a terrible start, an awful start. Nishimura's mugged him off the line. Is that Veronique Morel behind, looking to grab a position where she can, just muscled out of the way by Hate Singh, but she's still behind him. And look at that, is that Martti Pessanen up the inside? It is. Martti Pessanen cutting his way through the field as Hate Singh struggles to regain momentum from his terrible start. Araujo Azevedo is also cutting his way through. Aiden Velang made up a couple of spaces as well, and Havana Eriksson charging forward. Everyone on the track on intermediates. You would assume, in fact, that they're probably going to be on intermediates the entire race through. It doesn't seem like there's enough coming in to warrant full wets, but it's going to be fairly consistent rain all the way through this race, which honestly probably doesn't favour Hate Singh. It puts him at a little bit of a disadvantage, but we'll see how it plays out. Chelsea Lachesi sets the fastest lap. Hate Singh deploying look at that, championship leader deploying the extra boost, but held off extremely well by Nishimura there. Very impressive stuff from Nishimura. Hate Singh setting a purple first sector as a result. Martti Pessanen quite at home in these kind of conditions, currently in third place, second on second and 2/10 back, with Veronique Morel having dropped back to fifth a little bit, but it's looking very rosy in particular for Kernau Crazy Cars, currently sitting in first and fourth, with everyone starting on intermediates. Actually, what's interesting about this is that because they didn't set their fastest time on quali on these, everyone starting on equal rubber. So for once, qualifying has made a huge difference. So a fantastic race to qualify well on for Kernau Crazy Cars there. A terrible one to qualify badly on for the likes of Ina Tarasova, Britta Pallison, and Vinko Markovic down there in the bottom five. Nishimura currently leading us around. Martti Pessanen harvesting energy along with the majority of the people behind him as Havana Eriksson moves up 2 spaces in 1 lap, overtaking teammate Velang and Marcos Araujo Azevedo. Well, Velang's going to come back at her here with a bit of an ERS deploy, but looks like he's not going to make it. Hate Singh, meanwhile, also deploys his ERS and manages to overtake Nishimura. Nishimura playing the long game here, really. Just waiting, biding his time. He knows he's quicker in the rain, I suspect. And he's happy to just wait it out as Hate Singh really burns through his ERS, and burns through his tyres. Nishimura just sat neatly in his slipstream. Let's speed things up a little bit as we can watch the cars go around. The two of these building quite a gap, in fact, over third place Martti Pessanen, who is trapped in a little duel with the likes of Aid Maglic and the 2 McLaren cars just behind Veronique Morel, who's having a good race. Aiden Velang again deploying his ERS, and he's going to get past his teammate using it. A good ERS deploy, but it's I don't understand his plan here, really, because now all he is stuck behind Veronique Morel, and in fact she's taken it back anyway. Oh no, wait, McLaren used team orders to allow Havana Eriksson to overtake him. Well, Aiden Veilang slapped down back into place by Marin there. That's controversial stuff, having just used his ERS. We'll have to get some words from him a bit later. But as it stands, Hate Singh building a lead. It's going to be interesting seeing what we get from this first round of pit stops, and indeed what kind of changes they're going to make, because there's no real nuance to it in terms of tyre strategy. It's all about who manages their tyres best and who has the raw pace, as Ericsson overtakes two people there. Although with everyone so bunched up, that's just indicative really of exactly how... Oh, look at that. That looks like Ide Maglic deploying the ERS. Ide slightly toasty Maglic. The melty one. The Slovenian rabbit is making its way through to 4th position. Hate Singh continues to lead us around. Nishimura continues to sit behind him and harvest energy. Looks like he's making a move anyway. Nishimura... Ooh, Hate Singh, they're side by side. Nishimura's got the advantage through here, and he's got him. He has got him there, although a bit irrelevant since he's going to be coming in. But look at the extra pace Nishimura seems to have. Already put over half a second into Hate Singh. As Nishimura enters the pits, Hate Singh stays out. Nishimura, one of the first pitters, along with Zach Lucas, Markovic, Tarasova. Barnett, Klein, Nasser, Veilang, Lucchesi, Pallison, Barnes and Giles all pitted in the last lap. So we now have the long runners in Hate Singh going for an overcut, but I'm surprised at that. Nishimura immediately blasting on the ERS as soon as he gets out of the pits, presumably in order to make sure that he isn't suffering, isn't going to get beaten to the punch by Hate Singh, who, depending on how well he's made this last, we'll have to see. I think Nishimura's going to retake the lead here. Surely. Schweitzer's got a small mechanical issue he's going to deal with. Oh, and he has retaken the lead. Is that Morel out in front of Hate Singh? It is. Morel out in front of Hate Singh. Hate Singh now deploying ERS, trying to get past her as quickly as possible. He's going to manage it as well. Peisanen behind them both, also burning through his ERS. But Morel now sitting quite pretty. It was close there. They do now have a tyre advantage on Minoru Nishimura, as he makes Tarasova and Lucas swapping fastest laps there. Look at these three here. It's really quite interesting to see that Hate Singh, despite being in a good car and being a good driver himself, really isn't... Oh, look at that. That's Payson just making his way past Morel. Really isn't that comfortable in these kind of changeable intermediate conditions, when you don't have much standing water, but you've got a lot of dampness and slidiness on the track. Makes the car move sideways under braking, and really kind of messes with your lines into the corner. Morel now coming back at Peisanen, not managing it. Let's have a look at some of the other major players here. Markovic dealing with a bit of mechanical issue. And Maglic bringing up the rear there behind Lucas and De Toro. As it stands, we can expect a lengthened lead in the Drivers' Championship standings from Hate Singh. But there's a long way to go yet. Zach Lucas moves up to 6th. Nishimura hanging on in 1st. Oh, Havana Eriksson's crashed! And she's out! I wonder if we're going to have a safety car. Are we going to have a safety car? Looks like it's just a yellow flag for now. It looks like it's just going to be a yellow flag. Well, good for Nishimura, that. And interesting for Hate Singh. I think he probably would have quite liked a safety car, but now he could well be at the tender ministrations of Martti Peisanen, Veronique Morel and Marcos Orejo Azevedo, who's drawn up to the back of them and is now threatening Veronique Morel with 4 laps remaining, sorry. 3.5 now. It looks like, barring something dramatic, Nishimura is going to win this race, but it's all about where the remainder of the top 5 end up, as Ide Maglic overtook. Wait, are these some late pits? Why are they pitting? They've mismanaged their tyres terribly there. We had about 5 drivers there pitting. Vinko Markovic had to pit. It's been a disastrous race for him. Ina Tarasova, meanwhile, in 10th, gets promoted into the points along with her teammate Naomi Klein. Nishimura in first. Singh cutting down the lead a bit there. Lukas Schweitzer runs wide and loses a couple of positions. Nishimura with entering the final lap is now putting in time back into Singh. But let's have a look at this. Let's see how these three... Is that Veronique Morel up the inside? Veronique Morel looking for a podium here. Her first, it would be, in fact, over the course of this season and a bit. Marti Pesinen looking for an opportunity to come back, but so is Marcos Orejo Azevedo. Morel goes narrow to defend. Nishimura, meanwhile, sweeps around the last couple of corners to confirm his victory. Everyone deploys ERS. Everyone does. Nishimura wins. Singh comes second. Morel third. Pesinen fourth. Orejo Azevedo in fifth. Lucas 6th, Maglic 7th, De Toro 8th, Klein and Tarasova bringing up the rear of the top 10 in 9th and 10th. Oh, and some late fast laps. Britta Pallison setting the fastest lap on the last lap with her fresher tyres. Interesting, maybe given that maybe her plan all along was to get onto fresher tyres just so that she could grab those 2 points that getting the fastest lap affords you. A very impressive result there, I think, from Nishimura. And indeed, all of Kurnow Crazy Cars. So, Singh got a penalty! Singh got demoted 2 places! Maple Street Motorsports breaking the rules! Oh, once again, those dirty Canadian cheaters. Absolutely disgusting stuff. That promotes Veronique Morel to second, Marti Petinen to third. And now that gap doesn't look quite as tasty as it did a few seconds ago. Singh now only 13 points ahead of Vinko Markovic, 14 ahead of Minoru Nishimura. Naomi Klein really impressing so far in 4th place. And Veronique Morel up to 5th after that drive. After 3 rounds of the championship, Maple Street Motorsports now have a 12-point gap over Braun Cocktail. That is a familiar sight, Braun Cocktail working their way back up the rankings, although it's not with Ina Tarasova this time. So... just thinking about Maple Street Motorsports makes me angry. No class at all. God damn right. It is disgusting, Matthew. Disgusting. It's great to have you all here. We'll see you in the next race. Hello and welcome to Munich. We're here for qualifying. We had a bit of a damp practice, to be honest. I don't think there's any rain expected for qualifying, at least not so far. We'll have to see who manages to make it out. Nishimura putting in an impressive first lap. The winner of last race, of course, Minoru Nishimura. And it looks like we're going to have Barnes and Giles eliminated, along with Velang, De Toro, and no! Velang saves himself. It's Maglic, De Toro, and Barnett who will be finishing outside the top 15, along with the unfortunate Barnes and Giles. We do have some rain here. We have a lot of rain coming. If anyone's going to set a quick time, it's going to be right now. They need to set a good time pretty much instantly. But so many are in their in-lap already. They've missed the opportunity. They've missed the window. The teams didn't see it coming. Who is that? Is that Nusrat Nasser trying to get a quick lap in early before the real rain sets in? But he goes straight back in for wets. He didn't manage it. There's going to be a very interesting... Yeah, that's it. Schweitzer, Klein, Markovic, Nasser, and Velang all out. Naomi Klein, who's been doing so well in the championship recently. relegated to outside the top 10. We're having water again, and again it's going to dip in the middle. I wonder, Ericsson going out on softs as opposed to the intermediates. Let's see how she does, actually. This could go pretty well for her. She's set a purple first sector, purple second sector, 3 purples. Beautiful. Fantastic work from Havana Ericsson on the softs there. And look, everyone else now switching onto softs, but I honestly think it's too late. I think it's too damp out on track. They tried copying people going on to wets now. It's too late. It's too late for slicks. The track is sodden. Ericsson's time is surely going to stand. It's surely going to stay as it was. That's right. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So our top 10 is Havana Ericsson from Minoru Nishimura, from Hate Singh, from Veronique Morel, Zach Lucas, Marcos Araujo Azevedo, Chelsea Lucchesi making a rare foray into the top 10, Britta Pallison in 8th, Ina Tarasova 9th, and Martti Pessinen in 10th. And here we are at Munich. Quite an interesting looking track. It's we're in the GT layout here, so a little bit kind of a fewer corners than you would normally expect. A bit more straightforward. But here we go. It's lights out and away we go. Terrible stuff from Ericsson. Even worse from Nishimura. Hate Singh blast past into second place. Morel starts on mediums. It's interesting looking at this because so many cars used harder compounds and they use slicks and damp tires, wet tires rather. It meant that they could change onto whatever tire of their choice. Morel on mediums falling backwards through the pack. Ericsson, Hate Singh, Nishimura, Araujo Azevedo, and Lucas are our top 5. Let's have a look at Veronique Morel, who's currently battling with Chelsea Lucchesi for 6th place. Those medium tyres, of course, are with softs, mediums, and hards being our 3 types of tyre today, our most kind of versatile compound. She's going to get squeezed out by Lucchesi, who also shoves his way up the inside of Lucas, who will probably be having none of that, you would assume. Okay, quite right, he took it back. Ina Tarasova getting past Morel as well during that melee. Havana Ericsson sees Hate Singh coming. Hate Singh, who really enjoys using the ERS as opposed to the power button as opposed to straight harvesting. Havana Ericsson sees him coming and responds. Chelsea Lucchesi also utilizing that power button. Maple Street Motorsports apparently have a need for speed and not for harvesting. Havana Ericsson 0.4 seconds ahead of Hate Singh. The two of these building already a substantial gap to the third car here. Third car on track. Veronique Morel, maybe a bit of a mistake going for mediums, fallen a long way back from her initial position. Paysonen getting up the inside. Tarasova cutting her way through the field here. This is vintage Tarasova stuff here. In 6th, she is scything her way through. Although Chelsea Lucchesi again deploying ERS a little desperately, one would think actually. ERS is a useful thing to have if you it's a useful thing to use, the power button, if you need to get past somebody quickly. But all he's done there is managed to stick himself behind Zach Lucas, who's not going to be that much quicker than Tarasova if he is at all. Meanwhile, Ericsson building a substantial lead now over Hate Singh as well, 2 seconds up nearly on him. There's been a crash. Aaron Barnes has crashed and there's a safety car. Oh, this is high intrigue. Very interesting. We'll have to see. Look at that. Everyone coming in. Ericsson coming in. Hate Singh going in. Nishimura, is anyone staying out is the real question. Britta Pallison looks like she might be. Britta Pallison thinking it's worth staying out for the track position. Presumably, some people on mediums and hards will be staying out. Most of them look like they are. Everyone on softs is coming in for that free pit stop as Aaron Barnes absolutely fucks it into a wall somewhere on track. Here comes Ericsson. Hate Singh gets into the first pit box. Araujo Azevedo also in. Ericsson was first in. She's not going to be first out, I think. Is that Hate Singh just ahead of her? It looks like it is. Hate Singh with a quicker stop. A valuable quicker stop. And, indeed, puts Sabrina Barnett between him and Havana Ericsson. So a valuable stop for Team Maple Street Motorsports there. And, I see Barnes just put it straight to the gravel trap and then stalled the car. What a hero that man is. Hate Singh on slightly old softs there. It's actually quite an interesting choice there because he's reusing one of the ones from practice, where he went out on softs, quickly discovered it was too rainy to be using slicks of any kind, and pitted again. So that's maybe only got one lap of wear under it, especially since they're under safety car and everyone will be equalizing a little bit. It's going to be interesting to watch. Arao Azevedo actually didn't stop, which I missed. That puts Start and Park Racing in first and second place, which is useful, but only if Pallison can defend him from Lucas Schweitzer and Araujo Azevedo can gap the rest of the field. And here is team principal Leftism joining us from the pit lane. Lefty, what do you think your team can get from this race today?
Top 5 finish at some point, that'd be nice.
Thanks for that, Lefty. Appreciate your time. Here we go. Safety car is back in the pit lane. And they've been released. Araujo Azevedo leads them away. Pallison right in his tail. Schweitzer, Morel, Maglic following them. There's a huge gap between them and Naomi Klein, though. Or rather, Markovic. Vinko Markovic was caught napping and took the entire rest of the field with him, essentially. It's good news for Start and Park Racing. And good news for Schweitzer and Morel and Maglic, who are now fighting each other as Start and Park Racing lead the field through. And Britta Pallison takes Araujo Azevedo. Araujo Azevedo, the reigning champ, probably won't see too kindly to that, especially with Pallison's older, slightly older tyres. I wonder if she's going to come in soon. The two of them continue to battle. SGA, get your drivers in line. This is not what they need to be doing right now. Pallison hangs it around the outside to take first place. Araujo Azevedo gives up. No, he doesn't. He comes straight back at her. This is great racing. Not optimal at all, but great to watch. Araujo Azevedo now defending. Morel looks like she's getting racy up the inside there, but she is nursing a bit of a mechanical issue. Pallison coming in for new tyres. Araujo Azevedo staying out. And that's it. Start and Park Racing wasting their advantage there, really, by battling each other rather than letting one go up the road and having the other one defend. And look, Araujo Azevedo is going to have to come in with practically no advantage whatsoever. Not a good look. Nishimura down in 7th. Looks like he'll be in prime position to take over from a few of these. But let's ride on board with Veronique Morel along with Lucas Schweitzer and Aid Maglic, the top 3 now, as Markovic recovers from his mistake earlier to wend his way back towards them. Nishimura cutting through the field on his fresher soft tyres. Out brakes Vinko Markovic, just gets hung back out to dry there. But then Markovic leaves him a bit of room. Nishimura's going to out-drag him, say thank you very much, I'll take that position. You can't give Nishimura an inch, otherwise he will take it from you, the veteran Japanese racer here. Top 3 now beginning to run out of rubber on their tyres. You would assume at least 1 or 2 of them. Meanwhile, Zach Lucas passes Lucas de Toro via team orders. You'd expect at least 1 or 2 of them to come in. I wonder if they're going to stay out. These mediums last a fair amount of time. Maglic went in. Schweitzer and Morel stay out. Nishimura now in 3rd. Veronique Morel's just had a Oh, she's retired! That mechanical issue has destroyed her car. She stayed out. The team kept her out when she could have come in to repair it, and that's ruined her race.
Podium position now!
Very cleverly, Havana Eriksson noticed Morel pulling off to the right-hand side of the road and used that opportunity to slip ahead of Hate Singh. Very wily stuff from the Swede. The top 5 now looks like Schweitzer, Nishimura, Eriksson, Hate Singh and Markovic. Schweitzer surely on his way in, so Nishimura will retake the lead here from Lucas Schweitzer on soft tyres. Lucas now engaged in a battle with Markovic, just took him. Markovic, in fact, dealing with a bit of mechanical problems as well. Interesting to see whether they'll take the risk and leave him out, having seen what happened to Veronique Morel. Apart from that, we have 12 laps remaining. It's going to be... Look at that. There's Markovic still nursing that car around. There's going to be one more round of pit stops in which you would assume people will be changing to maybe mediums if they can, maybe not. Look, there's water coming. I didn't even notice. The rain is on the way. Hate Singh, Zach Lucas, and Inna Tarasova all having pitted Hate Singh and Zach Lucas in an almighty battle for 15th place. All of them gone on to intermediates quite early. I wonder if they're going to be losing time due to this. Significant amount of time with the track bone dry at the moment. Their idea is to try and get onto intermediates earlier than the rest and get the jump on them, but there's not even rain falling at the moment. They've gone on extremely early. I genuinely am baffled by that choice. But here now other people are coming on to intermediates. Nishimura, Nasser, Barnett, Vailang. Who leads? It's Havana Eriksson. Havana Eriksson leads from Markovic. Markovic, who's played this pretty damn well on his hard compound tyres, now finds himself in second place. It depends. He might try and gamble on the fitness of his car as the rain begins to fall. If he can just get in and out in second place. Paysonen in third. These top three especially have timed it absolutely perfectly. Maglic, De Toro, Pallison, Schweitzer, Klein, and Rejo Azevedo are going to have to come in again despite their tyres being... Tarasova's crashed! And that's perfectly timed for Havana Eriksson and Vinko Markovic and Payson. That slows down the entire rest of the track. I wonder whether they're going to be able to get out in time. I don't think they will, but it's going to be close as others start coming in for Inters. They are. Eriksson's going to come out behind Markovic, though. Vinko Markovic not only managed to repair his car, what incredible work from his pit crew. Vinko Markovic manages to get out in first, having repaired that. I mean, it must have been a quick repair. Brilliant work from the Functional Beverage Racing pit crew here. Lucas Schweitzer didn't pit. What is he doing? That's suicidal. He's going to have to pit. There's huge amounts of rain scheduled. Marty Pesson slots in fourth. Nishimura fifth. Maglic sixth. Nasser seventh. De Toro eighth. Lucas ninth. And Hate Singh, having played this not well at all, is down in 10th. Down in 10th place. Wow. It's not gone well for Starton Park Racing either. Having led the race 1-2, they are now down in 11th and 15th. We've had so much drama already in this race. Let's speed it up to times 12 speed. I'm certain we will see a Lucas Schweitzer pit because it would be suicide not to, surely. Yeah, there we go. He comes in. He's going to go all the way down to 17th. A terrible option by Functional Beverage Racing there. Although they, as badly as they played it with Schweitzer, they have played it to perfection with Vinko Markovic here. Provided he can look at how close Eriksson is behind him, weaving around behind Markovic, trying to get him to go. And here they go. They're back racing. There's been another gap there. Is that Nishimura? No, it's Maglic. Again, he's going to try and make it up using ERS. Markovic under threat from Eriksson, who's deploying her ERS. He's just keeping her behind him. Pessonen and Nishimura close behind her. Nishimura now deploying ERS. But there's not many places to overtake. It feels like a desperate move to be deploying it here. You need to wait for the start-finish straight, really. That's the primo overtaking opportunity. Paysonen now. Yeah, see, Paysonen used it, but he couldn't find a way through. Eriksson now a second off Markovic. Having not utilised, well, none of them utilised the ERS power boost particularly well there. Vinko Markovic is driving fantastically at the moment. They've played that to absolute perfection. Let's have a look at Hit Singh. Down in 9th, having just got past Aiden Veilang. Although a little way off, and Veilang is going to shut up, Giles. Is going to try and come back at him. There's so much water on track already. It's almost as if we're kind of getting to a point where Inters aren't even the optimal tyre here. Oh, Aiden Veilang gets up the inside. Well done. Beautifully done. Starton Park Racing allowing Marcos Rejo Azevedo to pass Britta Pallison at this point is foolish, frankly. I mean, what's the point now? You should have done it earlier. You should have let him go. You should have instituted team orders then. Now it just feels like a half measure. Hate Singh stuck in 9th. Markovic pulling out a second lead ahead of Eriksson, who is under all kinds of pressure from Marty Paysonen, who has really been displaying his consistency in recent races. Paysonen and Nishimura, the two veterans hunting down Havana Eriksson. but letting Vinko Markovic get away. As it stands in the Drivers' Championship standings, Vinko Markovic would take first place. And indeed, Kernau Crazy Cars would resume their... Oh, Lukas Schweitzer runs wide to compound an absolutely awful race for him. Ericsson, nearly tries it, nearly gets within range. He puts in a blistering lap to catch up with him. And then can't quite try it. He's going to try up the inside. Paisonen tried up the outside with the RS. They might be 3 wide. Oh, Paisonen gets through. What a move. What a fantastic move from Matti Paisonen in the wets. His favoured wet racing. Oh, look at that. It's fantastic to see. Brilliant move from Matti Paisonen there. The two drivers. Oh, no, but here comes Markovic. Here comes Markovic again. He's not giving up that virtual first place in the championship so easily. He's going to try and throw it down the inside, down the chicane. A great move from Markovic. Fantastic. Paisonen's not done yet. There's 2 laps remaining. And these drivers are giving everything they can. Nishimura slightly further back. Losing touch. Ericsson just watching the front 2 battle it out at the moment. Paisonen's so close. It's really interesting to watch. It's so hard to... Marcos Araujo Azevedo, meanwhile, runs wide. Just a shockingly bad race for Start and Park Racing so far. And it's not likely that it's going to change anytime soon. Paisonen's still stuck to the back of Vinko Markovic. Following him through, thought about throwing it down the inside there. Decided discretion was the better part of valor there. Lives to fight another day. Paisonen again looking... But all that did was put him out of shape and put Ericsson back on his tail. This is the final lap. We're seeing the top 3 decided before our eyes here. Paisonen and Markovic, Paisonen, Ericsson. The top 3 as it stands. All 3 of them having had great races. I wonder if anyone's going to have any ERS to deploy as we head towards the final corner. There, Markovic deploys his. Paisonen and Ericsson don't have any to deploy. They're still harvesting. They don't have enough. Markovic is going to win. Markovic sweeps home to take the victory. Paisonen comes second. Ericsson third. Nishimura fourth. Maglic fifth. Lucas sixth. Nasser seventh. De Toro eighth. Pallison ninth. And Hate Singh in 10th. What a race that was. It had everything. It had crashes. It had retirements. It had rain. It had racing. And at the end of it all, Vinko Markovic crosses the line first for functional beverage racing to put himself top of the championship. It must be reminded. Oh, of course, scrutineering could yet change all of this. Who knows? It doesn't change anything. Havana Ericsson takes a consolation prize there. Fastest lap bonus. Wait, I lied. Chelsea Lucchesi got demoted 4 places. After having broken GMA rules. Maple Street Motorsport still cheating here. Still cheating. It's outrageous. And the next demotion they're going to get, shades of Braun Cocktail last year, is going to be a serious demotion. They need to toe the line for the rest of the season. Havana Ericsson with the fastest lap. Matti Paisonen in a creditable second place. Vinko Markovic with a fantastic first. Played to absolute perfection, which means he now takes first place in the Drivers' Championship. Hate Singh moves down to second. Havana Ericsson, Matti Paisonen move up to 4th and 5th respectively. In the Teams' Championship, Kernau Crazy Cars, that familiar sight. The Cornish team back on top. Except they're not actually Cornish. I've forgotten what nationality they are. Cornish isn't nationality anyway. So there we go. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you in the next race.